At E3 2011, Nintendo showed off what they thought would be another smash hit console, the Wii U. It had a screen in its controller, and they only showed off the controller in marketing. It failed. But it did have some pretty banging games. Fast forward 6 years to the January 2017 Nintendo Switch presentation. There, they fully revealed the new console, its price, its release date, Breath of the Wild as a launch title, Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, an enhanced port of the Wii U game. This sparked a sort of trend of Wii U games coming to Switch. Mario Kart, Mario 3D World, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Pikmin 3, Pokken Tournament, Bayonetta 2, New Super Mediocrity U Deluxe, among others. But outside of those, Nintendo hasn't really been doing a great job at selling us games from before the Wii U era for full price. When it comes to first-party legacy content, we have Mario 3D All-Stars, that Fire Emblem localization, Zelda Skyward Sword HD, and the Switch Online streaming service, all of which I have massive problems with. Third parties are definitely better at porting their old games to the Switch. Capcom's doing a pretty decent job with porting over old games, no matter how overpriced they might be. Hamster is killing it with the Arcade Archives collection. Sega ported over Sonic 1 and 2, which they do for every console, but hey, it's worth noting. And the Crash and Spyro trilogies, while not in their original forms, can be played on the Switch with no hassle. Despite some really great old games the Switch has, there are still quite a few of these things I already own that I want to own again on this thing. These are my most wanted Switch ports, and this one was a shoo-in. Let's just get it over with. All three main Banjo-Kazooie games are really great, and I want to own them all a third time, except now on a spit-resistant postage stamp. These would not be difficult to bring over at all. Just port over the Xbox 360 versions of Kazooie and Tooie, slap them onto the eShop individually, but also sell them as a physical bundle, like Final Fantasy 7 and 8. As for Nuts and Bolts, that's a built-from-the-ground-up 360 game. It would make total sense if it was sold separately. We could add an actual function for stop and swap, because the Switch doesn't really have a use for gamer picks or, god forbid, any more themes than basic black and white. But at their core, these would just be the 360 versions just on Switch. We could also maybe port over Grunty's Revenge from the GBA, considering that game has never been re-released and is considered by many to be the true third Banjo game, but I would be completely content with these three. With Melody of Memory being the first Kingdom Hearts game on Switch, I feel like now's the perfect time to release most of the core games on the console. The Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 remix contains Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, and Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. These titles get worse every time. This would be a neat way to introduce the series to Switch owners, because, sorry to all die-hard Melody of Memory fans out there, I don't think Melody of Memory is the greatest introduction to the formula. Of course, there's also the HD 2.8 collection, which contains 2 games and a movie, which, sure, this would also work, but I don't think anyone's just itching to watch Kingdom Hearts X back cover on the bus. 1.5 and 2.5 is the core collection of games and is undoubtedly more important than mediocre 3DS game and Kingdom Hearts 3 demo disguised as a new release. It's not like these couldn't run on Switch, which seems to be most people's rebuttal for games they don't want on the system for some reason. These are PS2 games. If Crash 4 can run on Switch, so can Kingdom Hearts. I really like Sonic, could you tell? Weirdly, despite having a presence at the January 2017 Switch presentation, Sega has had very little output on the Switch. We have the aforementioned ports of Sonic 1 and 2, Sonic Mania, Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD, Team Sonic Racing, The Blight of Society, and not much else. Which is why I propose a Sonic 3D Classics compilation on this thing. Adventure, Adventure 2, Heroes, Shadow. 06 could probably be sold separately as an actual functioning game. Unleashed would probably fry the Switch, but you know the classic saying, if it can run Bubsy Paws on Fire, it can run anything. Colors is boring and dumb, and Generations would be a perfect fit for the Switch. With Sonic's 30th anniversary looming, I think now's the perfect time to bring what are some of Sonic's best titles to the Switch, considering the ones we have now are table scraps. Persona 5! Everyone always asks for this game on Switch, and why wouldn't they? It's Persona 5! I've only played a few hours of it, but from what I have played, it's just a damn good time. With the game's actual sequel on Switch, it just makes sense to bring the first one over. GameCube games just do not get the respect they deserve. On the Wii, Nintendo re-released Mario Power Tennis, Pikmin, Pikmin 2, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Metroid Prime, and Metroid Prime 2 under the new Play Control series of games, with an exclamation mark. On Wii U, Zelda Wind Waker and Twilight Princess were remade, which is code for Zelda Wind Waker was remade, and for some fucking reason, Luigi's Mansion was remade and re-released on the 3DS. A year and a half after the Switch came out, what was the point of this? Why waste resources on a 3DS remake of a game that would greatly benefit from the Switch's power and instead stick it on a system that could barely run Rayman Origins, let alone Luigi's fucking house? Which is why I propose Nintendo ports or remakes Luigi's Mansion 1 on Switch, because this game deserves way more than being ported to a system it wasn't made for. We could either just have the GameCube game and upscaled and in widescreen, or we could spruce up the visuals to be on par with Luigi's Mansion 3. Personally, I'd be fine with just an upscale, but if we're talking about just an upscale, then take a gander at The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. Twilight Princess HD is the most pointless port Nintendo ever put out. You could already play the Wii version on the Wii U, and it looks the exact same as the Wii version. I bought this thing when it came out, played it for a few hours, just could not get interested and sold it. This game just really isn't for me. On the complete opposite side of the shit spectrum, Wind Waker HD. This is how you bring a GameCube game to new hardware. It looks beautiful and adds some general quality of life changes, and while I don't own it anymore, I sold it a few years ago, probably to pay for something stupid like Club Penguin Elite Penguin Force on the DS or Sonic French World. But regardless of 11-year-old Ewan's adventures in stupid fucking decision-making, I would kill for Wind Waker on Switch. And just to make it funky, let's stick Twilight Princess there too. Ideally, these would be sold as a bundle, but Nintendo would totally sell these separately for full price. And while we're on the topic of Zelda, why not bring over Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask? I've got other games to not play before these two, but they're still landmark titles in the series' history that people would probably want to try out after playing something like Breath of the Wild or Link's Awakening, both of which I don't own and haven't played respectively. Metroid has not had the best history on Switch, which is to say Metroid has not had a history on the Switch. Metroid Prime 4 has been stuck in now in development limbo, and whenever a trailer has nothing but a logo and this, that's practically the developers screaming at you, "We don't have anything!" But to fill that 4-year-old Metroid Prime 4 shaped void, maybe we should bring over the Metroid Prime trilogy from the Wii. I think it would not only sustain the desires of Metroid fans to play these games on Switch, but would also give new fans a way to sink their teeth into the series and prepare for when Prime 4 comes out never. Just re-release the Wii port of the GameCube games on Switch because these look good enough to just be simple ports. Now, while everything up until the last 8 minutes have been my subjective picks for games I want to see, this last one is a game that does not get the recognition it deserves and absolutely, above all of these, deserves to be brought to modern hardware.
Sorry to keep you waiting. It's been too long, Lady Palutena.
Kid Icarus Uprising is the best 3DS exclusive. Its visuals, character design, writing, character interaction, music, and general playstyle are all absolutely fantastic, but it is all completely bogged down by its absolutely putrid controls. With how tiny the original 3DS is, holding down the circle pad and L button to move and fire while using the touchscreen to aim is just not intuitive, which an enhanced port to Switch would probably fix in its entirety. Analog movement and aiming and firing with the triggers would completely negate the arthritis issue of the original. Maybe add a fun extra mini story segment in the same vein as Bowser's Fury, but I would be perfectly content with just a HD port. Masahiro Sakurai, the game's director, said he didn't want a sequel to be made as he felt there was nothing more to be done with the characters, which is fair. This man is so ridiculously overloaded with Smash Bros, he deserves a break. But getting a different team to clean up the visuals and tweak the controls can't be that difficult of a task. I absolutely love this game and really want to see it get the widespread recognition it deserves, and with the series' 35th anniversary looming on the horizon, I think there's a chance this game might get an Uprising of its own. As well as this tweet from Sakurai that came out the day I was recording that was probably just a botched translation, but hey, there's a chance. And that about wraps up my most wanted Switch ports. There's obviously a few I missed, like Wario World, the Wario Land games, the GBA Zeldas, Mario Kart Double Dash, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, Sonic Rush and Rush Adventure, Mario Power Tennis, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Club Penguin Elite Penguin Force on the DS, but there's no time for those, because my copy of Sonic Unleashed for the Switch just came in. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go sink hours into this game I already own and have already finished. What the fuck is this? I'm calling tech support. This is unacceptable.
You've reached Bubsy Paws on Fire Incorporated.
You lied?